and welcome to Two Gray Goatees and a Whistle. I'm your host, Coach Huddy, along with Coach T joining us and the coach's wife, Amanda.
Hello.
So we are going to end the new year about talking about a couple of the bigger stories that happened during 2025, considering New Year's Eve is approaching. I have chosen 5 stories. We'll talk about them. Then we're going to rank them. The 3 of us will each say what we think story should be the biggest story of the year out of the 5 that were chosen. Okay. So I'll talk about all 5 stories, and then we'll go from there. I'll give you the backstory about each one. All right.
Sounds
First
good.
one. All right. World Series for the ages. 2025 World Series became an instant classic, featuring the Los Angeles Dodgers and Toronto Blue Jays in a matchup felt both historic and a cinematic. This one I chose, I personally, just because I'm a huge Blue Jays fan and my heart was broken, but it was a great game. A lot of multiple extra inning games in this series. You had legendary pitching, duels mixed with late inning chaos. You had superstars deliver under maximum pressure. Ratings surged as casual fans were pulled back into baseball. This was just a kind of a throwback to why October baseball matters. So that's our first one. Our second one is going to be the gambling scandal. How gambling scandals have gotten worse. We can talk about Chauncey Billups, who was Trailblazers head coach. He was a part of this gambling ring. Looks like there were some referees, some players that were involved. So this gambling scandal that's happening is the reason why I think is important, because you're seeing point shaving allegations. This brings up legal sports betting. One thing that, and for me personally, seeing this happen now with all the legal sports betting that you do have, it surprised me it's taken this long before we had something like this come up. Then, the way this one I think is important is because it's not just one scandal. It's thousands of sports, but not just sports, but thousands of instances that this happened, or across not just one sport, but a lot of sports.
So as this goes on and on, investigation, they're finding gets deeper and deeper.
It's getting deeper and deeper. And so, nothing's been said much lately about it, but it's
well, I'm
unfortunate.
sure they have to keep some of it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's an ongoing investigation. So
Yeah,
we have that
I'm sure
one.
it's been going on. I'm sure it's been going on for years, but now it's finally getting blown up. You know what I'm saying? I can't imagine that sports have been going on without gambling and without wagering, and now it's just coming to light. People are getting caught.
Right.
Yeah. So the next one we'll talk about is the Luka trade. So reason why this was huge in the NBA, because this was like the franchise player for Dallas, and he was a superstar, and he's in his prime, and if you're a Dallas fan, all of a sudden you get blindsided. Like overnight, you're seeing that your best player just got traded, like out of nowhere. And so
did they get something for him?
Anthony Davis and maybe one other
it
player, maybe.
It wasn't too fantastic.
The trade was not, it wasn't a very an even swap. I mean, it was more for books and money. Yeah. So Dallas was after the GM, general manager, just out. And I think eventually, he might've stepped down. I'm not sure, but it was crazy. Just about players moving and the debate over loyalty and player movement. So that's one. And our fourth story is going to be about the Kansas City Chiefs. For the first time in many years, they will not be going to the playoffs. There's some excitement.
Yes.
Get some new blood in there finally.
Yeah, something different. Golly.
Yeah. So this, we can look at this as, the assumption that they were always going to be there. I mean, they have Patrick Mahomes and stuff like that, but you could see that age, roster turnover, all come into question. And eventually dynasties do end. And I think that this one was out in the NFL. There's a lot of really good stories out there of how teams are being really good, but this one's like an expectation that has fallen flat. or finally age and everything else finally caught up to them. So that's why.
There's cycles, though. That's completely normal. Even
Right.
from rec ball clear up to pros, you're going to have cycles. You're going to have kids or adults or pros that do really well together and they progress together and then they age out of that program, whatever grade of profession they are. And then you have to start again. You have to bring in new guys who work well together. And ideally, you can do a little at a time. But sometimes you run out of those leaders or those star players that have made you what you are.
Yeah, 100%.
And then finally, the fifth story, the Thunder launching to the next NBA dynasty. Is this something that's going to happen? This is a small market. Okay. One of the biggest issues I have with the NBA is that you have these large market teams and how they go about building their rosters versus how smaller markets have to do it usually. Okay. Smaller markets usually don't have this huge amount of money they can spend and bring in superstars to build these super teams, so like the Los Angeles Lakers are
Do they not have, I get that the size of your franchise matters to some degree, but do they not cap it like the NFL does?
They do, and they have like a luxury tax. Is there a way you can explain it? Maybe, I don't know. I mean,
I'm not exactly sure on how it works. I just know, it's like the haves and have-nots, like those major markets, they have access to more funds. So like you said, they can't build super teams because they're capped because there's only so much room, and so much money, as opposed to like a Lakers or like in the big cities and all the money that comes into their program. So, the ticket sales
So
and all
maybe the
that
cap's
stuff.
too high?
the NBA is kind of built a little
Because it seems
differently.
to me like it would kind of ruin your fan base if it was always the same 5 teams.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can say that the NBA is
That would get old. I
that
don't
the
watch the NBA very much.
NBA, that's probably one of the biggest knocks is that it seems like it's per usual. There's 3 or 4 teams that are building these super teams, and you got these other teams like Oklahoma who built a quality team. They did really good in their draft. Their development of players did really well, and now they got this good young core of players.
But you got to keep them there. You got to keep them the money and the
Yeah.
contracts to keep them there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And it's one of those things where you hope you can keep them there, and they want to stay there. That's part of it, but sometimes money talks, and
Sometimes.
so I
Or
mean,
sure
but
it always does.
I mean, the Bucks would be another example. The small market team, Milwaukee, they kind of built from within, and you get certain guys come in that will come to your team that will be good complementary. But a lot of these teams that are trying to build a championship team in the NBA through development and stuff like that, you got to have you have to have a lot of patience for something like that. You got to have a GM, you got to have a fan base that's patient enough to let that happen. Okay, so based off of those 5, what would be let's go from least to your best story, I guess, for the biggest story. So we'll start from the top. So story 1, the World Series. T, where would you rank the World Series from 1 through 5?
I would go like 3. 3.
3? Okay.
I played baseball, but I'm not a big baseball guy, but I like watching it.
Right. Hey, what do you got there?
I think I'm going to trying to remember what they were.
Blue Jays and
I'm trying to remember what the other 4 things were.
the gambling, the Luka trade, the Chiefs, and the
Okay, so
Thunder.
I'm going to give it a 2. I'm going to put it in 2. Yeah. It was I didn't sit and watch the entirety of it like you did, but I thought it was, as far as World Series goes, it was very competitive, and both teams stepped up with everything they absolutely had for all 7 games. So that was kind of cool.
It was a lot of late nights on school nights.
Yeah,
me
you were
watching
up a lot.
a lot because it was crazy. It was crazy how long, and it wasn't just the championship. How the Blue Jays got there.
Yeah,
there was some extra innings with the Mariners
So
too.
many. Yeah.
So I have it as 2. That was where I had it. I have one that I think was a little bit more on that. All right. Gambling scandal. T. What do you think?
Gambling scandal. I would put that. I mean, like I said, it's been going on for years, but now it's a big time issue. You know what I'm saying? And they're now bringing light to it, and the people that are getting caught up in it have probably been doing it for years. And to me, it seems like somebody got rubbed the wrong way, didn't win what they wanted, and they went out and were like, put salt on everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Blew
Started
the
calling
whistle a
people
little.
out. Right. You know what I'm saying? But it's been going on for years. So I'd say 4. I'd say 4
Okay.
after the series.
Okay. What do you got?
See, I'm putting that one as number 1. Simply because it is affecting everybody. The fan base, the teams, the players. Like, everybody is being affected by a handful. And I know in the scheme of things, really, it is a handful of jackasses.
Yeah. So I put it as 1 too, and my reasoning is I look at this as there's a lot of distrust anyways. You got a lot of conspiracies always out there anyways. I mean, just look at the NFL. It's like, oh, the refs robbed this team, or in basketball, oh, the refs robbed this. You know how they wanted this team to win.
I sure
So
it's your fault for not paying them as much as the other team did.
right.
Right.
So
Right.
I look at that and I go, okay, so it doesn't help that situation where you already got conspiracies out there that really it's not affecting the game, but then you always now you got this gambling scandal.
You said they are talking about shaved points and referees that were pulling calls and not pulling calls, and so it is affecting the game.
Oh, it is. And so now, and on top of that, with when sports betting became basically legal and across the country, there are obviously states that don't allow it, but you knew something like that was eventually going to catch up to it.
It was probably going on the whole time anyways.
But this now made it legal.
Yeah.
And so you could bet on, it's not like you had to go like around here, you'd have to go jump over to at least Jackpot.
Yeah.
Or, where T's at, go to the closest casino there. Where he's at to go do, if they got sports betting there, that, you actually had to go somewhere. Now I could just, you can be at home and you can do
Get
it.
on your
And
phone.
it's accessible. Get on your phone. Yeah.
Right.
And then you have advertisements,
True.
FanDuel and all these, these DraftKings or whatever, all these things that are sponsoring sports that are gambling.
Yeah.
And so, you got Caesar's Palace is, that's the name of the Superdome in New Orleans. So that's on sports gambling. So, and that's all online. So MG and all of these gambling where it was localized to like Nevada or Atlantic City or Indian reservations, the ones that have casinos, that's where it was at. Now it's everywhere. You don't have to go to these places. So
all the more reason why I would put it at number 1 though, because it's it's affecting everything.
Right. So okay.
Anyways.
All right. So Luka trade, the Doncic trade.
Okay. Can I just say before you ask T, I really want to meet that guy.
You want to meet Luka?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really do.
Okay.
He looks like a hoot.
Yeah.
And he is, and I've watched.
He just looks like he absolutely loves what he's doing.
Yeah, he does.
He would be one. I'm not a huge NBA fan, but I would really like to meet him.
All right, T, where do you put the trade at for Luka?
I'm gonna have to go probably 2 because I was like, so now they got all these weapons and then they add Luka to the mix, and I was like, so they got to win all their games, right? Because they got all this talent. How can they not? And and they get rid of Davis, the 7-footer. But I mean, Luka, he changes the game how he plays for a big man that can shoot outside and have all the weapons and can still get to the basket and still play with his back to it if he had to. He's a weapon.
Amanda?
4.
4. Okay.
Yeah. Doesn't really matter in the large scheme of things. He just looks like he'd be a lot of fun to be around.
Yeah. This one was a good one. This one was hard for me. Out of all of these, I think I'm going to give it a 4 as well.
Copycat.
I know. We do these. We're copying on all three so far.
I went first.
I know you did. I don't know. I mean, I guess I could change it up.
I'm that good,
Yeah,
Chad.
I know. But hey, great minds share alike, I guess. I don't know what to say. So
Good stuff.
the Luka trade was a shock. And what about the whole thing, which I even think it's even sweeter, because I'm a Trailblazer fan, and the Lakers and Trailblazers always had a history, they just rivalry. So, and right now the Lakers aren't doing well. Right now they're not playing very well, and they have all these stars and still not performing. So
Yeah, but you know how you can get too many like top dogs in an environment,
Yeah.
and then they don't function together because they're all so used to being top dog.
Yeah.
And there's only
Yeah.
one basketball. You only can play with one
exactly.
basketball. Not enough basketballs.
There's only 5 of you on the court, and
Yep.
exactly.
No, and I get that, and I see that, but that was the talk. It's like, in this year that they're not doing well, and I don't feel bad for them.
No.
So all right, our next story: end of the Chiefs, an end of a dynasty. Is this the end of the dynasty? So, tea or drink this
Number
story?
one.
Number
Number
one.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a Niners fan.
Somebody doesn't like the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Say it.
Niners fans.
You're an Irish fan. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. To see the Chiefs finally, and I was tired of the Swifties. I just wanted it to be about football, and I was over it. They spent more time up in the box with Taylor than watching the game and hearing about her and Travis's nonsense.
Right.
So
I'll go first in this
that's
one.
just
So
my
that,
thoughts.
No,
okay, fine. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
4. Nobody cares about
Actually,
the Chiefs.
no. You already did 4.
Who did I put in 4?
You put Luka at 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
this has to
Sorry.
either be a 5
A
or a
5
3.
because nobody cares about the Chiefs.
Really?
Yes, 5.
God damn it.
Because it's neither here nor there. They're just going to build up the next
Great.
group of players. I mean,
I'm
hopefully it takes them a while, but just
you
put
torn,
it as
Chad?
5 and move
got
on.
it, because I was going to put it a 5. And my reason behind it is that if the Chiefs were in the NFC and in the same, or if Seattle was back in the AFC West, I would probably care more about this more. But they're not. They were successful. I respect them for that and what they were able to do. I never get caught up. I never did get caught up on the whole Swiftie thing. I could care too less about what people thought about Taylor Swift. I don't have an issue. I've never had an issue with her. And I don't have an issue with Travis Kelce. But yeah, I could see where everybody was getting tired. They were always showing.
I think it was just because it seemed to be in your face. That was all that seemed to matter. And the true fans were like, excuse me.
Yeah.
We don't give 2 rats ass about who he's dating. We care about the pigskin and who's getting down the field.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep. All right. That leads us to the Thunder. OKC. All right. T. This is going to be.
Got to be my 5, right?
This is
That's
your
all
5.
left.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Amanda.
I'm not a big.
And me.
I'm not.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, I was just gonna say I'm not a big NBA fan because it just they're a bunch of grown babies to me that make too much money to play a kid's game, and then they want to barely get bumped and whine about a call when that's what they should be doing. They're supposed to be the best athletes in that sport, and then they're crying to refs about calls, but they're making millions of dollars to play a kid's game.
That's why college basketball will always be better than pro basketball.
I like college basketball.
Yeah, I catch college ball. Yeah,
even a good high school basketball is better than pro.
Yeah, and I share the same sentiments. My thing, though, that always got me is the load management. These guys who aren't going to play tonight because it's a load management.
Back in the day, they played every game, every second,
Yeah.
All 3 of us are in that generation from watching basketball in the 80s and 90s. Right. And when we were watching Larry Bird, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Kobe, all of these guys, Clyde Drexler for me, and all these guys. And when these guys, and these guys went at it.
Yeah, it was a totally different game.
It was a totally different game.
Very physical.
And these guys to me, are more athletic, but there is so much that doesn't get called, like you'll see guys take 6 steps before they even dribble the ball.
Yeah.
And it's the small fundamental stuff that maybe just because the old school me that sees this and it drives me nuts.
Well, it's not real basketball. It's not following the rules of basketball.
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
there are rules.
Yeah.
Right.
But they only apply to some people because, you could, these
Yes.
guys,
Fair enough.
I understand these guys are huge human beings, but still, you can't get from the 3-point line. Well, maybe some of them can, but from outside the 3-point line to the basket for a dunk without traveling. But yet it happens in every game, and a shuffle to load their legs and then still dunk it, but there's no
Yeah.
travel. But a guy can
There's no
make a
travel.
pivot and pick up the run. Yeah, you can make a pivot at the post, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's it, walking, we're out of here, going the
Yeah.
other way."
I'm just bitter because the rules have always applied to me.
Well, and to me, I look at it and I always see, I look at our high school kids, our middle school kids, and that's what they see.
That's what they see.
And so,
But that applies to everything.
but it does. It
That
applies to
applies to
everything.
everything.
But, basketball, one thing about basketball is very intimate. It's you outside of baseball and football, because baseball, you have some distance. They're wearing hats. They're wearing helmets. Football, they're in full gear. So you don't really get to see these people up close as you do in basketball. Basketball is like right there. And that's what makes
Yeah.
basketball kind of unique, at least to me, in that sense. So seeing that, to me, those kids, when they're in there and they're jacking threes up, but yet they can barely lift 10 pounds on weights and they're just launching stuff. And I'm just like, good Lord. But yeah, so that's the ranking system that we got. So let's go over this. Our number ones, our top scores. Let's go with number 5s. Me and Amanda shared everything together. We said the Chiefs was ranked number 5. T had the Thunder at 5. At number 4, T had the gambling scandal. Me and Amanda had at 1s. Then let's see here. The World Series, me and Amanda had it at 2. T had it at 3. The Luka trade, me and Amanda at 4. T at 2. And the Chiefs, we had at 5. And then T had it number 1. So, all right. Are we ready to move on to our next segment?
Sure.
All right. This is Would You Rather. All right. So do you know how this goes, T? Would you rather?
I think so.
Just
I hope so.
pick one of the 2 scenarios.
You're going to be given 2 scenarios, and then you got to pick one of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it actually it's pretty basketball driven. So that's good because you're in the throes of your basketball season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right. So question number 1. Would you rather be known as a defensive mastermind or an offensive genius?
Defensive mastermind, because defense wins championships.
There you go.
And we're talking about basketball, right?
And I think that one doesn't really matter.
It
But
doesn't matter anything. I'm going to be the same way. Defense. Yeah, because when I think defense, I think of like.
Well, you've said that to me. Offense wins games, defense wins championships.
Yeah.
You've said that to me.
Yeah. Well, I think if I'm thinking basketball, I think Dennis Rodman.
Fair enough.
That was to me
the beast.
And a good defense turns into instant offense, because you get runouts and, fast breaks and stuff. And if you can stop a team with good defense,
makes sense.
That's hard to beat.
Yep.
Okay. Question number 2. Would you rather coach a player with elite athleticism but low basketball IQ, or high IQ but limited athleticism?
High IQ.
High IQ.
I'm going to go
okay.
High IQ. Yeah. Because if they have a high IQ, you can do things with them that, to make them to play to what skill set they have. Because if they're super athletic, they're going to be jaded. They're like, well, I normally do this, or my AAU coach or my travel ball coach says I can dunk all the time when I can't even make a left-handed layup. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather have an IQ player. So, I think that's out. Yeah. IQ.
Yeah.
Any sport.
You too?
Any sport.
Yeah. Any sport. I'm always going to take the higher IQ person because it's cerebral. That means that they know the game, and therefore that's going to get an advantage on it. Maybe they might not be the quickest person out there, but if they know the game, they're going to be.
If something happens, they
can respond better.
They're 3 steps ahead. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think also, hold on quick, Romad. I think also with that cerebral part that Chad said, I agree totally, because when a really super athletic guy, there's a breakdown, they break down because they don't know what to do when they can't do what their athletic ability normally lets them do. they break down sometimes mentally and they're hard to coach because they get frustrated easy. And then the kid with
That
the
makes
high
sense.
IQ could see the counter. They're like, oh, okay, so they're taking away this, so I'm going to hit him on this backdoor cut, or I'm going to fake this and go here with the ball. So it makes it. And in high pressure situations, I think they're better.
Okay, makes sense. So IQ trumps athleticism. Gotcha. Okay, number 3. Would you rather coach a team that shoots lights out or one that locks down defensively?
That's a dirty question.
My gosh.
Got to pick one. That's the
Man,
game.
I know. I got to go with defense again. I'm sorry, because there's just in the college at BMCC we had a game where we shot like out of the world. Like we were like, holy crap, everybody, even our manager can hit a basket, but we couldn't lock down defensively, so we still lost. So even though it was good that
Right.
everybody was hitting shots and knocking stuff and had good percentages, the fact that we gave up more shots and gave
Yeah,
up more opportunities to score, I'm gonna have to say defense.
that makes sense. I mean, you can shoot at a lower percentage, but if you're getting 4 out of 5 rebounds,
Yeah.
that's 4 out of 5 more shots you're getting.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that totally makes sense. Chuck?
I've never been a part of, I mean, I've been a part of teams that have had offenses, whether it's football or whatever, like especially football. I've been a part of teams that had high gear going offenses, and I've been
Mhm.
on teams that had really good defenses. In basketball, I have never really been a part of, well, I should take that back. There's only been one time, and I have never coached basketball long that has been a part of where we had shooters. It just hasn't happened
Yeah.
very often where
Right.
you
Yeah.
get it. So it's, to me, it's rare in basketball than football, but I still think I'm always going to go to default to defense. I think defense will always lock down a good offense.
Okay, question
Mhm.
number 4. Would you rather lose a close game but see vast improvement or win while playing a sloppy basketball game?
Mm. Mm.
I think
Mm.
I know how I'm going to answer this one.
I think I would rather lose by 1 and see vast
It's a
improvements in
buzzer beater,
players.
man.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's gonna happen. Sometimes there's breakdowns, and you never can tell. That's why we play the game, and we coach the game, so kids can have the opportunity to experience that, and we get to experience as fans of watching the game. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go lose by 1, because if you play a sloppy game and blow a team out, I don't know. I'd lose by 1, because then you got a
Okay.
lot to teach too, because it teaches them how to play the game, and they can become better athletes, basketball players, if that's what we're talking, or any sport. I think it's close games.
I'm going to take the sloppy win.
Really?
I am just, and this is why,
Next time you win a game as a coach, I'm going to be like, slop.
Slop for the crowd.
'Cause
Sloppy.
my logic is going to be that if that is that our worst and we won, God, I know what we can do when we are on point. That's kind of how I'm looking at it. Is like
Maybe it's just a fluke.
and it might have been, but
Right.
I've been a part of both. That you seem like you're more upset with the win than you are the losing a close one. But
Mhm.
in the grand scheme of things, obviously you want to win, and so I'm going to take the W.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Question number
Not a
5.
bad.
Would you rather draw up the perfect play and no one runs it, or a terrible play that somehow worked?
Let's see here.
I'm gonna go with a terrible play and it has success, because we've had
Okay.
instances at the college now where we drew up we thought was the perfect play, and everybody was like, "Yeah, coach, you got it," during a timeout, and then we went on the court, and the head coach and I looked at each other and went, "That's not even the right. They're not even in the right spots." So yeah, I'd rather have them just go out there. Yeah, I get lucky. Somebody throw up the deep ball and it goes in, and we're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
just like I drew it,
Yeah.
just like I drew it."
I'm gonna have to go out to you that one. I can say though that when you do draw it up and they do run it like you want it, whether
Satisfying.
satisfying it feels so good.
Mhm. It
It's
does feel
like
good.
it all meshed. But you've coached long enough. You've done where you're like, okay, you got the X's and O's. Whatever you're doing, this is where you're supposed to be. This is where you're going. This is your responsibility. Blah blah. And you go out there, and it's like, and you like Coach says, you got Everybody in agreement, shaking their head. This is what we're doing, coach. Okay, we got it. They go out there and then like they step across the line and the amnesia hits or something. And then, or when they're talking to you, you're speaking a foreign language and it's coming out something completely different. And so when they run it, you're like, what the hell is going on?
And if you're not concise when you draw it up, like, because you don't know what the defense is going to do, you draw it up to
Right.
what you think will work, right? But then they're like, when you talk to them after the game, your debrief and your team meeting, you're like, well, why didn't you guys run the play? Well, they were standing in the spot where you told me to go. Well, you still need to go there because that's part of the play. If you don't go there, you know what I'm saying? And
Yep.
but you know, it is.
Okay,
what it is.
last question. And this one's kind of a silly question, but it's kind of based on, I mean, you guys have coached multiple sports, guys, girls, different ages. And the biggest thing you hear every coach say is talk. You need to talk. So here's your would you rather. Would you rather hear my bad 100 times or total silence?
Oh,
oh, you caught me. You caught me slipping. You caught me slipping, Amanda. Yeah. Oh, my response to that has always been, I know it was your bad. That's why I'm talking to you right now. You don't need to say my bad. Everybody here that was watching the game knows. So
those are your choices. They say my bad or crickets chirping.
I mean, I hate my bad. I hate my bad. See, that's one of my pet peeves is my bad. Or I knows when you're talking to a player, like, hey, why didn't you do? Oh, I know. Oh, you did? Then why'd you do that? Because that's not what we teach. That's not what we coach.
Right.
So then why'd you do it? So I would rather probably silence and then, or if they're gonna have silence, at least acknowledge it. Like, look at me and be like, you know, and then we can talk about it later in private.
yeah.
But because I lose my mind a lot.
Well, and it happens it happens in school. So we hear my bad. I hear my bad from kids.
I was thinking more like girls, like middle school or JV girls basketball, where or volleyball, where like, my bad. Oh, that was me. My bad. Like, oh my God, fix it.
I love that when somebody takes accountability. I will give somebody credit for that. But if you don't ever fix it,
yes, that's not really accountability.
It's not accountability anymore. So yeah, I crickets because it's like a nail on a chalkboard.
I hope all your guys' players watch this and hear you say crickets.
Oh, they know. We had that conversation just today in practice, as a matter of fact, about my bad.
That's funny.
Question.
All right.
That's it.
Okay, we're moving on to our last segment. Okay, it is mascot of the week. This one was brought up by one of my guests from a couple episodes ago, the one that is doing the Mighty Oaks documentary. If you haven't seen the Mighty Oaks, check out that film. It's amazing. The lacrosse one. Brad Lethwith, when we did the mascot of the week, he loved it. He gave me a school to do, and so I'm going to do it. So Brad, thanks for this recommendation. If you're listening, we're going to go to Hollister High School, and this is in the San Benito area, the San Benito Valley. It has long ties to ranching and agriculture. School teams adopted this mascot to reflect their local identity of the farm ranch type of atmosphere. It is not an animal mascot, however, and we are going to be talking about the Hay Balers. The Hay Balers. Hay Balers.
Interesting.
Hey, have you seen the muscles on those boys that throw hay bales?
Oh man, that farm
want to tussle with them.
Yeah. Farm strong. So 1952, the school officially made this their mascot. Their costume mascot is commonly known as Hank the Hay Baler. A little bit about the school name. So the actual name of the school. On campus, the school was known as San Benito High School to represent the valley. But the district officially changed it in 2022 to Hollister. So for a lot of people, they call it San Benito. That's what everybody knew it as. But in 22,
the volume down.
They changed it. So student population is 3,300 students.
That's a big school.
Yeah, big school.
Wow.
So notable accomplishments: softball won state titles. Their program's first title was in the early 2000s, and they are well known in softball. Volleyball won their first state title in school history in 2006, 2007. 2023 softball season, we're ranked number 1 in California.
Oh.
They have a rivalry tradition. It's called the Prune Bowl with a school called Gilroy. That is goes from 1956 to 2012.
Wow.
So Hollister, California itself is let's see, it was named after Colonel William Wells Hollister. Median household income is around 101,000. Cost of living is 170%. 70% above the
California.
It's California. 70% above the U.S. average. Your average home is around 746,000.
Dang.
Yeah, that's according to Zillow. Yeah, home price. Oh man, that's just insane. 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom is right around $2,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you say a 2-bedroom for $2,000?
It said an average rent. So according to apartments.com, your average rent for a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom breaks out to around $1,900. Zillow has it higher at $2,700 across all beds and properties. So that's the average. Practical takeaway: expect $2,000K a month for an apartment or higher.
Jeez. Wow.
Yep. So that is our mascot of
But
the
you
week.
can be a hay baler.
You can be a hay baler.
Yeah.
Their mascot's kind of cool. The mascot's kind of cool. The pitchfork.
I looked at it. It kind of made me think
and a
of
bell
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The guy had a bell hook in one hand, and he has a pitchfork in another, wearing a cowboy hat and like overalls. So yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. All right. That will do it for our episode. We'd like to thank everybody. We hope everybody has a good New Year's. I'd like to thank everybody who's been listening. Finland, Helsinki, thank you for listening. Singapore, thank you for listening. Lithuania, thank you for listening. And everybody stateside, thank you for listening. That's it. Everybody take care of yourself.